Somewhere in England right now, a doctor is looking at a scan. They have 6 minutes to make a decision. They are one of the best in their field. They trained for 12 years to do this job. And sitting on a server, somewhere in London, is an AI that can look at the same scan in 0.4 seconds, with greater accuracy, for a fraction of the cost. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no fatigue, no off days, and no sick leave. The NHS is at breaking point. 7.8 million people on the waiting list. Patients dying before their appointment arrives. A system that everyone agrees is in crisis and nobody seems able to fix. AI is not coming to fix the NHS. It is already here. And what it's doing, and what it means for your health, your doctor, and your future, is a story almost nobody is telling clearly. Until now. To understand why AI is entering the NHS, you first have to understand just how bad things have got. There are currently 112,000 vacant posts in the NHS. That is not a rounding error. That is enough people to staff every hospital in Scotland twice over. The average wait for a consultant appointment is now over 14 weeks. For some specialities, it is years. And the problem is structural. Training a consultant takes between 10 and 15 years. You cannot recruit your way out of this crisis quickly enough. The demand for healthcare is growing faster than any human workforce can scale, which is exactly why, in 2019, the NHS published its long-term plan and put artificial intelligence at the center of it. Not as a future ambition, as a present-tense strategy. Right now, across dozens of NHS trusts, AI is reading scans, flagging cancers, prioritizing emergency cases, and predicting which patients are about to deteriorate. So let's look at what it's actually doing, because some of it will genuinely surprise you. In 2023, a team at Google DeepMind published a landmark study. They trained an AI on tens of thousands of mammograms, breast cancer screening images. Then they tested it against the judgments of specialist radiologists, some of the best in the world. The AI outperformed them. It detected cancers that human experts missed. It produced fewer false positives, meaning fewer women going through the terror of a cancer scare that turned out to be nothing. And it did this consistently across different hospitals, different equipment, different patient populations. This is not a prototype. Versions of this technology are now deployed in NHS trusts across England. Doctors are using AI as a second pair of eyes on every single scan. A tireless colleague who never gets distracted, never gets tired, and never has a bad day. One of the most dangerous moments in any hospital stay is the hours before a patient deteriorates. Heart rate creeping up, blood pressure dropping slightly, subtle signs that something is wrong. Signs that are easy to miss on a busy ward at 3 a.m. An AI called Streams, developed by DeepMind and deployed at the Royal Free Hospital in London, monitors every patient's vital signs in real time. It analyses hundreds of data points simultaneously, and when it detects a pattern that historically precedes a dangerous deterioration, it sends an alert directly to a nurse's phone. In trials, Streams identified acute kidney injury, a condition that kills 40,000 people in the UK every year, up to 48 hours before standard clinical tools would have caught it. 48 hours. In medicine, that is the difference between treatment and tragedy. Walk into any A&E department in England on a Friday night, and you will see the same thing. A waiting room full of people in pain, and a triage nurse doing their best to work out who needs to be seen in the next 5 minutes and who can wait 5 hours. AI triage tools, already piloted at several NHS trusts, analyze a patient's age, symptoms, medical history, and arrival time simultaneously. They flag the highest risk cases instantly, helping nurses make faster and more accurate prioritization decisions. In trials, they reduced the number of high-risk patients waiting over 4 hours by 20%. This is the application that most people do not expect. AI is now being used to analyze speech patterns, social media activity, with consent, and digital behavior to identify people at risk of a mental health crisis before they reach one. An Oxford University spin-out called ESO Digital Health has built an AI that analyzes therapy transcripts, identifies which therapeutic techniques are working, and feeds that insight back to therapists in real time, making every single session more effective. The NHS has commissioned it. When you consider that the average wait for NHS mental health treatment in England is currently 18 weeks, and that 1 in 4 people in the UK will experience a mental health problem this year, this is not a peripheral application. It is urgent. Before we get too carried away, we need to talk about what can go wrong. Because AI in healthcare is not a solved problem. It is a rapidly evolving one. The first concern is bias. AI systems learn from historical data, and historical medical data in the UK, as in most countries, reflects decades of systemic inequality. Studies have shown that AI diagnostic tools can perform less accurately on patients with darker skin tones, on women, and on older patients, because those groups were underrepresented in the training data. The second concern is accountability. When an AI misses a cancer and a patient dies, who is responsible? The doctor who trusted the AI, the company that built it, the NHS trust that deployed it. British law is genuinely not ready for this question. The courts haven't faced it yet, but they will. And the third concern, the one that doesn't get discussed enough, is what happens to the workforce. If AI can read 10,000 scans in the time it takes a radiologist to read 20, how many radiologists does the NHS actually train in 10 years' time? This is not a hypothetical. NHS England is already reviewing its radiology training numbers. So what does all of this mean for you practically as an NHS patient in 2025? It means that if you go for a cancer screening in the next year or two, there is a reasonable chance an AI will be involved in reading your results, either as the primary reader or as a second opinion alongside a human radiologist. You probably won't be told. There is currently no legal requirement to disclose it. It means that if you are admitted to hospital, AI may be monitoring your condition around the clock, watching for signs that the human staff on a busy night shift might miss. In this case, the AI is almost certainly on your side. And it means that your GP, if they haven't already, will soon have access to AI tools that can analyze your entire medical history in seconds and flag patterns that would take a human doctor hours to spot. The question is not whether this will happen. It is already happening in forward-thinking practices across the country. The honest verdict? In a system as overstretched as the NHS, AI is not the villain. It might, if implemented carefully, equitably, and transparently, be the closest thing to a solution that actually exists. The NHS is the closest thing Britain has to a religion. We built it. We love it. We fight for it. And right now, AI might be one of the few things that can actually save it. But only if we ask the hard questions about bias, accountability, and transparency. Only if patients know what is happening to their data and their diagnoses. And only if the conversation stops being between technologists and politicians and starts including everyone else. Every week on this channel, we look at exactly this kind of story. AI changing something real, something British, something that actually affects your life. Not the hype, not the sci-fi. The actual thing that's happening, right now, in this country. Next week, we're looking at something that will make you think twice the next time you read a news article. Because the story you're about to read might not have been written by a human. And we can prove it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if this video made you think differently about the NHS, share it with someone who needs to see it.